Hello, it's Nienke here from Nienks.com. Today I'm going to show you a card, the first in a series that I made with the Stylish Sketches stamp set. So this is a celebration item. So if you're not aware, if you spend $50 or more, you can get this stamp set for free in this month, July, and then August. So I'm going to use that, and let's start with this card. Let me just grab the stamp. I'm going to do these figs first. Get that on the block. Okay, so I'm using a very vanilla card base, standard size, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then I'm also using a Mossy Meadow mat that we're going to do some stamping on. I'm going to use my Stamp and Pierce mat and use these little dots, the dottage from the stamp set. I really like that. It can give you a lot of texture. So let me show you what we're going to do. I'm going to stamp Mossy Meadow on Mossy Meadow. And then we are also going to do some watercoloring. Again, I think this stamp set is perfect for watercoloring. Okay, we're just going to do the one edge. So starting at this edge, I also want this side to be darker, and then moving in with your first, second, and third generation stamping, just rotating the stamp a little bit while we add some dots to that side. So as I said, this is a celebration item that you can get for free, and initially I didn't think it really it was really that much until I looked at it closer and saw that it has excellent potential for watercoloring, which I love to do. I will show you that. Okay, so there is some, like a little gradient with our dots. Just going to clean off the stamps. I really do like to do that, otherwise they fall over and I get ink on my hands, and then before I know it, it's all over my project. Okay, so that, and then I also am going to put a little sentiment as soon as I have my placement ready. The next thing is you're going to need a little very vanilla scrap. It's about 2 by 3.5, I think. 2.5 by 2, doesn't really matter as long as the stamp will fit on it. I wanted to do, there we go. What I actually want is I'm going to try and find a piece of scrap that's more square-ish. Let me just see. This one. Will it fit on there? Okay, that one will. It'll be fine. Okay. Because I want to put this, the corner of my branch in the corner of that, like so. Yep, okay, that'll be fine. And then I'm also going to stamp this in Mossy Meadow, ink it up nicely, get that in that corner-ish, and just hold it for a second to get your give your ink time to absorb into your paper. There we go. So it's a line art sketchy type. Am I going to use this again? Probably not, no, but we can close it. And now I'm just going to give that a little bit time to dry because I want to do watercoloring. Again, it is Mossy Meadow on very vanilla, so it will bleed with watercolor, but that is the desired effect. And then what I also want is a little piece of DSP. So this is also a SALE-abration item, free with a $50 order. And this one is the Rings of Love DSP. I really like this paper pack. I'm going to have a lot of fun with it. So this is a little 4x2 inch piece, and I'm going to tear this down because I want to give it that you know, a little more of a just some more texture on the image. Now if you tear towards you, you are going to get the white, like the white tall pieces showing. Now for this I'm using very vanilla, so I don't want that stark white. There is white in this paper, but it's mostly covered with the it's got more color on it, so it's not as white. So I'm going to tear from the other side, so that will give me that white edge. You see what I'm talking about, that part right there. So that is going to be on the back side and not on the front side. So on the way, if you tear towards you, you will get these white edges. If that's what you want, great. Sometimes it is. If you don't, then this side will just give you the tore edge. Okay, so the one where you want the white edges, tear that towards you, and it doesn't matter how this tears. You take about 1/4 of an inch off, so you don't want to take too much off. You just want the tore edge. So yeah, I'm very excited for this SALE-abration. There is really a lot of great stuff this time round. I think every time, and SALE-abration items are just amazing, and I completely fell in love with this paper, this stamp set. Probably going to do a lot of things with it. Plus you get so much paper, you can really make a lot of cards from one paper pack. So if you get your inks and your water brushes, and so yes, that is the back side with the parakeet party and petal pink and crushed curry, and what's the other one in there, soft suede. Okay, now I'm just roughing up, pulling, like bending the edges upwards so that it will give more dimension on the card. So I'm just going to put glue right in the middle so that the sides can still lift up. Okay, so that's most of our pieces. Now this I think has dried enough. I'm going to tear this down too. I'm going to use my Mossy Meadow ink, just putting in another stamp set there so it doesn't bob around. You can see I already used it. I'm going to put some extra ink on there because I might need more. There we go. It doesn't, you can clean your stamp lid if you want to after doing your watercoloring, or you can just leave it in there. It reactivates when you add water again. So I'm going to add a little bit of a drop of water from my water brush right there. If you want a darker color, you're going to pick up just the ink, and if you want a more lighter color, you can add a little bit more water. Again, this is not watercolor paper, this is just a regular, very vanilla. It will warp if you use, it will warp anyway, but it will really warp if you use too much water. Okay, I have my ink here, water brush. I'm going to start at the spot where I wanted the darkest, so in that little corner, and just work my way to the spot where I wanted the lightest. So that's our first leaf, and like you see, really it is not a lot of work. I'm going to add some color here and there where I think it needs just dabbing. It will bleed in. That's what I would love about watercoloring. Let's do our next leaf. Start at the spot you want the darkest and just work your way around. If you want it lighter, use a little bit more water. If you want it darker, use a little bit more ink. And then while your paper is wet, go back and add some little bit more color where you want it. Now this is a fig. A fig is that it's like a dark purplish, like between blackberry bliss, rich razzleberry, cherry cobbler. It's that kind of color, very dark purple, deep dark purple. Now, and they start out green, so they start out the exact same color as the leaves. So we are just going to use that and start them off green. That will give your image more depth, it will give it the right color, and then the green will peek through here and there, which will make them more natural looking. Okay, just like that. That's your leaves. Clean your, first I'm going to add not a lot of green. Now start where you think your darkest needs, the darkest color needs to be. I think it'll be sort of at the bottom. So I'm going to start, I know I'm turning the paper around, but it's just easier for my hand than to go from the bottom to the top than from the top to the bottom, if that makes sense. It's easier for me to, if I want this darker, to turn my paper around so that I have this part first and then just come closer to me. Here I want that part darker, sort of a shadow underneath the next one, and then this one I sort of feel that that's the bottom, so we're starting that way and I'm moving to the top. Now I'm done with my mossy meadow, and we're going to do the stem. You can see I left the stem. The stem is a real nice brownish color. I'm just going to use early espresso for that. I don't need a lot. You can see I already have my, just add a little bit of water, reactivate what I already have there. If you want it a little bit darker, just pick it up from your ink pad. I don't think I actually want it darker. And then start at the spot where you want it darkest. Very light touch. Don't scrub. Just very lightly touch the paper. It will bleed, and the more you brush over it, the more it's going to fade out your lines and bleed out your lines. Okay, that is the stem. And now, like I told you, those little things, the figs, the fruit, they're now what did I do with my, here we go, I'm going to use rich razzleberry. It's got that red. I only have a spot for it currently, and I'm picking it up just from the side over there. Okay, starting at my darkest spot again, which is right here. Very lightly go over your fig, like so. And then you can go and just dab, whoops, just dab some extra color on there. This one is from this side. Darker spots here. The color is going to change a little bit as it dries, so it may look a little bit bright right now, but it will darken up. Like I said, you still have that little green showing through here and there. Now you can just go back and add some color. At this point, don't add any more water. Just use the ink and very lightly, don't push down hard on your paper. Just want to add a little bit of color. Now you can always add more color, you can never take color away. So there we go, that's our purplish figs. Start with your mossy meadow and then just give it some extra color. Put that away, clean my brush. I use the same water brush, like you see, I just clean it off between colors onto my chamois. If you want to make sure, you can just brush it over your grid paper. Nothing's coming off, so that's not going to contaminate your other color. Okay, now I'm going to tear this down to, now this one I don't care which way the edge is, because it's Stampin' Up's cardstock is the same color straight through the core. There isn't a white piece in the middle. So I'm going to tear this one towards me, so then it will give me that nice tore edge. And I'm a little bit close to my image right here. We're going to do one more thing. And use this thumb to stop the tear. If you feel like it's coming in too close to your project, just keep your finger on where you don't want it to tear away. Then it won't tear into your image. So here I'm keeping my finger right there on my image. It's not going to tear into it. And then there again, I don't mind if it comes in a little bit. And the last side, I tear very small edges. If you feel you're going to have trouble with that, then just make your piece of scrap a little bit bigger, and then you can tear a bigger edge off. Okay, I want to do some more stamping, just some extra texture. I'm using real red. You can use colors that will work with this. Real red, Poppy Parade, or even Sweet Sorbet will be fine. We're just going to add some very light dottage. That's too high. Let's put that one away. We're not going to need the tray, so we can actually do that. Okay, add a little dab of color. Now I'm going to do second generation because I feel this one is going to be too dark. So start off my image and then just add some of that. And I also want some yellow. You can use crushed curry. I have Bumblebee right now. As I said, yellow is yellow. Well, not always. Daffodil Delight might be a little bit bright, but crushed curry, which is in the paper pad, or crushed curry or Bumblebee, it's fine. So add some ink, stamp off, and then add it where there needs to be some color. That one I stamped off twice. Here we go. And you can see I'm stamping over my image too. It is fine. I just wanted to get rid of that stark, very vanilla. And that is it for all the stamping. Now our card is going to come together really quickly. I want to add some linen thread. Now I still have, what is this? The linen. I still have this linen trim. It's the like the woven one. I don't think it is available anymore. If you still have it, then use it. If not, you can use the linen twine, the natural linen twine. You can see mine is finished, and just use a couple of strands of that. That one is still in the annual catalog. There's actually a couple of nice natural looking ones that will work perfectly. There's also a mossy meadow one, a mossy meadow ribbon that you can use. Okay, add this one first with some liquid glue. I'm just putting glue in the middle because I want the edge. I don't want to glue the edges down. Make sure that it's the right. I don't think it really has a directional pattern, but the acorns do hang down. So if they're this way, they're going to look up. I'm going to do them this way. Put it a little bit to the top right, because the edges are torn. I don't think it really can't be perfectly straight. You can now like tie this around like so, but I feel like I waste a lot of my ribbon or twine or trim at the back. So what I like to do is just use 2 pieces like this and then glue them with a glue dot. Just give myself enough space to fold them around the back. And grab a glue dot, both ends down into one. See, now they're not going anywhere. And I can place it exactly where I want, like so, and then just fold that one over and stick. And now my glue dot is at the back. This is exactly where I wanted to place it. And now we're going to do the same with this one. Glue dot, stick it into the twine. There's my glue dot. Make sure everything is straight where I want it. Fold and stick. That is what I feel or found the easiest to do. So we have that, and that I'm going to add my little faux knot as soon as I decided exactly where I want to put this, and I think that will go there. So now I just add another little piece just off the spool. I want it to go this way, so just check which it now wants to go there, because my spool is up there. This is going there, the knot can go there, that's fine. And pull it tight, cut it off the same length. And now what I also, just before I add that, I want to stamp a sentiment. Now I'm going to be very, very brave and stamp it straight on here after I've adhered all of this, because I wanted to see the placement. If you feel that you need to stamp it first to make sure it's correct before doing all of this work, you are welcome to. I am using this very cute happy birthday. This is actually from an old stamp set, probably 2 years ago. Zany Zebras. Use whatever happy birthday you have. And I'm also using Early Espresso, not Mossy Meadow. Mossy Meadow, because we don't have a sentiment strip, the sentiment needs to pop out a little bit more, so I wanted it in a darker color. So I'm using Early Espresso, and I'm going to put my sentiment right there. As I said, if you feel you're going to get it not right, I'm pretty confident that I'll get it. Every now and then it doesn't go according to plan, but most of the time I make sure that my stamp is straight on my block and that my stamp is actually, you know, everything is straight. I practice before stamping on my project. So there we have that. So now that that is an Early Espresso, it is more, it stands out more. Now I'm going to add this with dimensionals, if I can find them. There we go. Yes, the sun is coming up and it's shining. Oh, it is shining on my project. I hope it's not a bother. It looks fine. So I want this over here. I'm going to try and not put a dimensional on top of my ribbon there. I actually want to put it on the other side, so I'm going to just cut a little piece and put it in that corner over there. One over here, one over here, one over here. Move the backing. Yep, it's very early in the morning right now. My entire household girls and hubby is still sleeping. Seems like that is the only time I can find to do my filming when the house is quiet enough. Which way do I have it? Like that? Doesn't matter. I'll pull it up a little bit. I do want it to go either this way or that way. That way? Yeah. There we go. And now I also want to fray this. You can pull this out a little bit. You can do the same with your linen trim, just to make it look more rustic. The word, I was looking for a word. There we go. And now we're going to put this on our card base, and our card is almost done. Oh, I hope the sun is not. Let me see. Hold on. Okay, I just closed my blinds a little bit. I don't want to have it too dark, like close everything, have it too dark, but I also don't want that sun rays everywhere. So I hope that's better. I hope it's not too dark right now. So let's add our card front, and then we're done. I think we can also make a quick envelope for this one. I don't remember if I've done that recently. Get this on my very vanilla card base. There we go. Isn't that pretty? So yeah, I'm having so much fun with this set. Now let's look at some bling. This feels more masculine to me. Whenever I go through my stash looking for a masculine birthday card, or you know, I come up short most of the time. I'm like, I should make more masculine cards. Okay, this one already, it's retired too. It's a 2020 to 2022 in color enamel dots. It's got bumblebee and then cinnamon cider. Now I thought that this cinnamon cider would work very great with this, but what you could use is the brushed metallic dots. I love those. I'm still just waiting for my order. So where's my take your picture? So I just don't have them yet, but you can definitely use those if you don't have your cinnamon cider. Okay, so I'm gonna grab one of these dots and I'm gonna put one. Let's put one up there. I also like the contrast on the mossy meadow. And let's put one over here. Maybe I should move that one up a bit to place this. I always place them very lightly so that if I want to move them, I can. I just want to move this one up, well, down just a little bit. There we go. Isn't that cute? It just gives it that little bit extra without being, you know, too blingy. But as I said, for masculine card and the brushed metallic dots, I think there's a gold and a gold and a copper and is it silver or is it something else? I think there's a gold and a copper and a something. That will look very nice on this. Okay, so I have 2 more cards in this series, same style, same look, just using the other 2 images, the fox and the ducks. So I'll show you how to watercolor that in the next one. So see you again. Let me just move this out of the way. Sorry. So please subscribe so that you don't miss the other 2 cards in this series. So see you again. Bye bye.